Hello and welcome to a project that I've been working on for about 1.5 weeks now. Every 2 weeks, the Minecraft subreddit has a challenge with a certain theme. It's kind of like a competition where anyone that wants to take part in this competition can create something according to the theme and the rules within 2 weeks. And then at the end, they are judged by, I don't know who, but the judges decide who gets first, second, and third, and then some honorable mentions. And I'm hesitant to call this a competition because there's no reward. It's not very competitive, it's just all for fun. I've done a few of these in the past. I've won some, lost some, but that doesn't matter because today we're taking a look at this. This is the first time that I've made a video for my submission. Previously, I've just made posts on Imgur. I knew that I wanted to make a video for my submission, not just to, submit something, but kind of do it for fun because I've been doing some more stuff on YouTube recently and I want to, just make a video about it. Because of that, I recorded most of the steps that I took. Not everything, because that would be just too much footage. So I'm going to play that, obviously sped up after the fact, but still it'll be a lot of stuff to go through. So skip to this time if you want to just watch me go through this entire thing and present it as normal. I'm not 100% sure, but it may look different for that because the rules require that you can't have anything that changes the textures or adds any new blocks. So I have to turn off Optifine for that. So I don't know how things are going to look, but that will be my, official submission. This technically is not legit yet. I found out about the challenge about 4 days after it was announced, so I was a little bit behind. I used to enter in these all the time. Actually, it was every other competition, which was once every 4 weeks, pretty much. And so I've always kind of been checking in on, who the winners are, and there's a lot of great builds just to look at and be like, yeah, that's cool. But I was a little late for this one. And I thought that I was early enough to be like, you know what? I can just get started on this right now and then I'll be fine. But yeah, I wasn't exactly fine because I don't know if you could tell by the clip in the beginning, but I did not complete this project. We'll talk about that later, but I just kind of want to mention what's going on right now that you're seeing. I first decided that I wanted to make some sort of ruined, abandoned, and remodeled castle on top of a hill surrounded by forest. The theme is Forest House, and I didn't really want to make just a single house because I didn't know how that would be big enough or grand enough for what I wanted to do with this project, so I decided to go with an idea of a castle. And you'll see later that it doesn't really function as a castle, more like a house, actually, even though it looks a lot like a castle. I first tried making the hill with World Edit, using spheres of sand over and over, but after about 30 minutes I realized that it was pointless. So I decided to learn World Painter. World Painter is a program which you can use to create large-scale custom terrain for your Minecraft worlds. I had only used World Painter once before, and that was for an Arctic exploration theme that was for a bi-weekly build challenge. But that was a long time ago, I think maybe a year by now, so I pretty much forgot everything. So I had to watch a few tutorials, and I wasn't doing anything very complicated, and it wasn't very hard to learn. It took about 2 days to get the world set up. But what you're seeing now is me creating some custom trees. Instead of just having the default trees, you can actually create your own trees or rocks or bushes, which is the 3 things that I did. And you can make them into your own brush and then use that in World Painter, and then they will show up in the world, which I just think is really cool. So after I had them all set up and in their own separate areas, I had to copy and save a schematic of every single one, either 2 times or 3 times. I had to save them multiple times because I build them in version 1.16. So some of the blocks I used, like stone bricks walls for some of the trees, which is a very underrated method of making trees, by the way. And also some things like spruce trapdoors and spruce buttons are not from the version that World Painter operates in, which is I think 1.12. So I had to replace them with some other block that I would then replace for a second time once I converted the World Painter world back into 1.16. Now, for this project, I severely overestimated the amount of time and efficiency that I would have during the length of this whole thing. So I didn't even start working on the main castle right away. The first day I started building, it was something that was completely unrelated. This was at a point where I wanted the main house and castle, the focus of my whole project. I wanted it to be an old abandoned castle that was renovated with someone living in it. Now we know that that didn't turn out, so everything that I'm doing now I thought would help with the aesthetics with everything else. But you might have not even noticed it in the cinematic because it blends in with the environment because of all the green, and it's pretty far away from the main castle. When I was starting out with this project, I wanted there to be a lot of smaller buildings and kind of towers that would eventually lead up to the one big one on the top of the hill in the middle. But as I've said maybe like 3 times now, it just didn't work out that way, and I'm fine with that because doing these smaller towers, castle parts, I realize how difficult it is to build things that are worn down, abandoned, or overgrown. So I'm going to continue on showing some of the time-lapse footage, but I'm going to stop with the commentary because a lot of the stuff I explain when I go through the entire thing at the end. Alright, so here we are in the world. No Optifine, completely vanilla Minecraft with no texture pack. So, let's get started on the path right here, which is the furthest out that I have built in this whole world. And speaking of this world, if you didn't watch the time-lapse part of the video, this was made with World Painter. I pretty much just made some hills and then covered it with some stone at a certain degree, so not everything was made into stone, and then painted with some custom trees. Some are skinny, some are kind of thick like this, some are made of stone. They're not actually supposed to be made of stone, it just looks like a different color of wood, but you get the point. And then there's some stones and bushes scattered all over, some flowers too. And here we go. This is the path that leads all the way up to the castle. So I'm just gonna follow this. Here we go. Going up. Slowly getting towards the abandoned buildings that were the first things that I made in this world. I guess I can check these out now. This is the inside. So yeah, lots of like vines growing, lots of moss and leaves, plants growing on the stone. We got a bar of wood or something that's fallen down. Trees growing in here, some spider webs, broken floor, a little bit of the wallpaper still left, I guess. Some water filled by the rain, some puddles inside. Oh, nice. And then just got some just dirt, trash, debris. You know, all the stuff that's in an abandoned castle. And then we got another one over here. This one has no interior, I mean. And then we got a tree growing on top of it with some more leaves on top. That's all for the abandoned stuff, which I intended to make this in the same style of, but this was just way too tedious to make something abandoned. Because if I wanted to make this on a larger scale, I would have to make the entire castle and then break it down myself, which would be like kind of like building it twice. So I just didn't want to do that. And so I made this instead. So let's continue going upwards up these stairs. Here's an entrance to this building, by the way. And up here, it kind of gets flat. And then here's the staircase that leads all the way up, made of diorite, but then I shaded it a bit to make it look kind of old, worn down, and not very plain, with some wool and concrete powder. Alright, here we go. We are all the way up. And looks like didn't fully get that. Alright, there we go. So yeah. You may have been able to tell from that, or maybe you could see inside the windows. This is a project that I did not complete. Sadly, I'm not going to try to hide that. I just didn't have enough time. I started 4 days after the challenge started. But yeah, that's my fault. And whatever. I still think I did enough to be happy with it, so you know, it is what it is. But I'm fine with this. So this is the entrance. Got kind of like a castle shape like that. Here is the main building. It's inspired by this picture. I don't know how to say the name of this castle, but it's one of the most famous castles in the world. It's southern Germany, and this is kind of what the entrance kind of looks like. So I made that, but made my own version in Minecraft, and that's what we've got here. I guess it's time to talk about this. Every time I make a somewhat large project, so pretty much every bi-weekly build challenge that I've taken part in, I have some sort of lore, and usually I make a really long paragraph written out on the Reddit post response that I make, and I guess I'll kind of describe some of it right now. This castle is located in a made-up country. The flag of that country being this: black on the side, yellow in the middle, and then kind of a greenish blue cyan color on the far right side of the flag. So it kind of looks like this, but if you would tilt this 90 degrees to the left, that would be the flag. And then we've got a white cross in the middle for this version because yeah, there's a church in here, so I'm assuming this country would have Christianity as its religion, because this castle is inspired by Spanish and German castles that are from real life. It's probably a good time to also mention the name. The name of this castle is Castoss Vel de Boscald, and you can interpret that pronunciation however you like. I don't really think there is a real pronunciation because the words are made up. I made up a language which is a mix of German and Spanish. I translated Castle of the Forest or Castle in the Forest, something like that. I put that in Google Translate. I mixed the German and Spanish, and that's what I came up with. So that's what we've got for the name. I think it's pretty cool. It sounds pretty neat, but yeah. Let's continue into the actual castle itself. And I don't know if this would be technically considered a castle because it doesn't really have the proper functions of a castle. There's no weapons. This would be a pretty easy spot to get in if you were attacking this castle. It's not very well defended. You know, you've got just a church on the very outside. Pretty sure you would want walls protecting this if it was a real castle. And that's because the theme is a forest house. And the surrounding area, we've got a giant forest. And this is kind of like a giant house. The main parts of the house are in these two buildings, but we will get to the interior later. I want to talk about some of the stuff on the outside right now. So in here is kind of the castle grounds, would you call it? I don't know the proper terms for all these things. I was gonna say courtyard, but I was planning on making a courtyard here, just didn't have enough time. A lot of the things in here I'm kind of disappointed with myself in are just caused by lack of time. Right now it's Friday night and I have to get this submitted by tonight, so yeah, pretty much no more time left. Got to get this out and posted on the Reddit post. And here we've got a staircase that leads up into this place, which you can look out on the outside. A tent with some logs, some dirt, lots of texture variation with the ground, and also on the walls. I don't think there's any spot that doesn't have texture variation, except for the spots I didn't get to, like right here, and here, and here. That's pretty much it though. Everything else, very, very diverse with the types of blocks that I use. Usually it's lots of birch wood, some oak wood at the bottom, but birch wood in the middle, and then mostly sandstone throughout, but mostly at the top. And then there's some other colors scattered throughout, like the warped, I think this is warped, yeah, warped wood. Got some red terracotta in here. We're just surrounded by bricks, granite. Got some black stone for the pointy bits, I don't know what you would call that. And then lots of other stuff you'll notice throughout. I'll start going around the entire thing. Over here, got a wall, mostly diorite. Got some more walls over here. I should probably limit myself with my talking. I realize that I record for way too long, so I'm just gonna try to go through this quickly. Here's some more walls. Got a tower there. A few of these diorite towers scattered throughout the whole thing. And then we've got this one giant building inspired by this thing on the Spanish castle that I don't remember the name of. Here is the biggest building of the whole thing, I think. Well, if it's height, then it goes to this, but if it's overall size, I think it goes to the church. You could probably tell it's a church based on the stained glass windows, and also the Notre Dame inspired pillars that are kind of supporting the side of the building. Over here, let's take a look at some of this glass windows, and then in here too. No interior to the church, that would just take too long. As always, time is my greatest enemy with these bi-weekly build challenges. But I think I did fine with the texture variation on the outside. It's enough to, you know, pass as a church. I think that's pretty obvious. Now let's get into the interior side of things, because one of the requirements for the challenge is that you have to make an interior with some sort of living space and a bedroom, and I've got both of those and more. So let's go in, let's press the button, and here we immediately enter into the dining room. It's not set up, there's no, maybe there's like 2 plates, and maybe this is like a golden pitcher, maybe? I don't really know what this is supposed to be. But this would be a room towards the kitchen, and where the servants would have the food prepared. Or maybe someone's just living here alone. This would be just the kitchen. But it's empty, because time. Here we got some curtains using banners. I thought that was pretty neat. I used that a couple times. Here we've got an overhang with a circle-shaped table. I got some tablecloth hanging off the sides, and then some windows that look out right here, which is where these lead. So let me go back in here. Oh yeah, this giant chandelier. I think this is the first chandelier I've ever made in Minecraft, ever. And I think it looks pretty good. And then I made a whole bunch of mini ones throughout the rest of the build. So the roof is kind of supported with these wooden beams. The overhang kind of has this jungle and oak texture to it. Let's continue on to the hallway, which goes through here. It kind of looks a bit creepy, but it has that fancy kind of old style to it. Got some more chandeliers. And then here, your eyes are probably hurting, but that's a good thing, because there's a lot going on with this living room. If you look up a fancy living room or a living space for a castle, there's always a lot going on. Very fancy wallpaper, lots of designs in the carpet, lots of different colored furniture. And yeah, that's kind of what I went with for this. We have a fireplace right here, made of mostly diorite and some blackstone. Got some Bibles stacked right here. Lamp. And these actually do light up because end rods, which is cool. Got 2 chandeliers in here, kind of medium sized compared to the small ones here, and then the big one in the dining room. Got some more of these curtains. These windows look out, let's see if I can get to it. Right here. If I look in here, I can see the living room. Down here, the windows lead to nothing. It's just stuff I didn't finish. So let's go back in. I guess this isn't a good time to mention that I have an entrance right here. In addition to right here, where I can enter from there, and on the other side as well. So let's go on to the upstairs, which is where the bedroom. This is where you might notice I really started running low on time. I completed these within the past couple hours, and yeah, lots of tight spaces because I had to be very careful with what I place and break, because it almost always leads directly to the outside. So stuff like this I can't break because it just leads to outside. And up here we have little tiny hallway room that you get to before entering the bedroom, which was a big challenge to make because everything is at a 45-degree angle instead of the normal 90 by 90 by 90 by 90 degree angles that we're used to with Minecraft. But I think it turned out alright. Got some fancy wallpaper with this glazed terracotta I'm not used to using. Got another lamp design, which is fairly common. We got a dragon egg with some quartz pillars on top. Got some diamond blocks to kind of resemble a mirror. There's no real good way to make a mirror in Minecraft. But yeah, that's what I've got for now. Some lamps, the bed. Hold on. There we go. A couch. And then some carpets. And then some more wallpaper, this time green, right there. So yeah, that's all we got for this room. That is all of the interior stuff that I had time to do. And I think that's most of what I wanted to show off and I'll kind of go around one more time. We've got this giant building. This is not yet done. Got a tower. Got this big diorite white and gray shaped stone tower, which is inspired by this thing from real life. I don't know what you would call this. And lastly, we got one giant flag, which I used to have right there, but it didn't look right, so I put it up here. It's the very tallest point on the map. The flower pot right here. Hold on, let me there we go. Nice. This is the flag. It's the same black, yellow, cyan color. And that is pretty much all I've got to show. If you want to take a look for yourself at this, if you're either from this channel or you're most likely from r/Minecraft and you've come to see my build submission and you would like to see this for yourself, I will include a world download in the description. So if you want to check that out, you can go ahead and do so and look at everything for yourself. That is all I have for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed looking at some of the stuff that has caused me great pain for the past week and a half. Actually, it was only kind of painful the past couple days, but other than that, it has been overall a lot of fun. And can't wait to see what people think about it. I know that videos submitted to the Reddit do pretty well on YouTube for the size of the channel, so I'm excited to see what people have to think about this, what people have to say, and if I get a good placement with the competition part of things, that would also be nice, but if not, then that's okay, all is well. And that is finally all I've got to say. Wow, this has been a long video. Bye.